Hey PE teachers, do you need an idea on how to keep your classes organized for attendance and instruction? Let me show you what works for me. Hopefully it'll help you. Welcome to MatherPE and the first video in our PE management series. My name is Pat Mather. I'm the phys ed teacher here at Eastern Passage Education Center, and this is my 21st year of teaching now, and I'm always continuing to learn, but here's a couple things that I've learned along the way that may help you. We're all creatures of habit and we tend to stick to our routines, and then once in a while we change something up and we realize, hey, why haven't I been doing this longer? When students come down to phys ed, they're pretty amped up and ready to get going, but we need organization and management as well to get our class flowing in the way and the direction that we want it to. One of my goals is to be effective and efficient with my time management. So that includes doing all of those attendance things or those instructional pieces or those transitions between games. And here's something that worked for me, and I can't believe that I didn't do it sooner. I've seen various ways of people taking attendance. Sometimes they will create squads for their class and they'll all sit in rows. Sometimes I've seen it done in a grid style where they've got a battleship pattern of numbers and grid pattern. Up until a couple of years ago, I just lined everybody up on this back wall alphabetically and I would do attendance that way. But I realized it wasn't quite as effective or as efficient as I wanted it to be. So one thing that COVID and the pandemic brought to us was this idea of social distancing, and it forced me to change lining up on the wall, and this is what I did, and it stuck with us. So whether I start my class with an instant activity and do attendance and instruction later, or whether we're getting into that piece right away, every student in the gym, when they come in, they're assigned a number and a spot to be, and it makes attendance really easy, and I've also got them set up for instruction in the same spot, which is really beneficial for time. At one point when I used to do attendance just against the wall, I would do that piece, and then I'd have to move them to a spot so they could maybe see a whiteboard and we could do the instructional piece. And I thought, why not just merge the two? And this is what we've done, and it works. Now when I need my students in a certain spot, I can just simply say, on your numbers, and they know exactly where to go. What I've done is around the basketball key and around the 3-point line, I've set up decals, and each decal has a number, and it's assigned to a student in each class. We teach that routine at the beginning in the first week, and it becomes a habit or an easy routine for kids to be able to do, and it speeds up our management process very quickly. So when we returned to school from online learning in our first go, we had to keep our kids socially distanced as much as possible. So we bought all these decals, and we just got them at a vinyl printing store, and I placed them basically around the basketball key. And so I've got 1, here's 4, and if I go across the key, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And these are pretty close to 6 feet apart. And then if I go out to the 3-point line, then I've got number 10. And if I go all the way around the 3-point line as well, they're evenly spaced out, and it tracks all the way to the far side. And then that takes up to like 24. And then out here I've got 24, 25, 26. And I've got all the way up to 32 on the other side there. So at the beginning of the year, each student is assigned a number, and it's based alphabetically by last name. And I can look around very quickly during a class when I'm doing attendance and go, oh, number 7 isn't here, Jesse isn't here today, and we can move on. And I get a good picture of what it is. It's also really helpful for a substitute teacher when they're in, because they don't know the names. Everybody has a designated spot, and they can quickly do their attendance. It speeds them up as well. The other thing I really like about this is it creates sort of this horseshoe shape where all the students can see me and I can see as well. There's no space where they're really hiding. I also like that they're spaced out enough so they don't have kids flicking each other, or they're less inclined to be talking to each other because there's a bit of a space between them. It also bridged that gap or that time between doing attendance and doing instruction, so I don't have to move them from one place to another. And if I ever need them to go back to a spot, I can just say back to your numbers, and we're all set. I like the horseshoe pattern too because it focuses their attention on our board where we're putting up some things, or maybe our outcomes that we're going to be tracking on that day. Another thing I like about having assigned numbers that follow students throughout the year is that it enables me to also use things like plickers or QR codes for fitness tracking, or perhaps using Flipgrid, because everybody's using the same number that they have in different applications, so it saves creating all that stuff from scratch every time by using the same numbering convention. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever makes you more efficient and more effective and that you're comfortable with. This is just something that I tried out and I really liked it, and it stuck, and I will continue to do this. So there's another idea for you for classroom management and doing attendance and instruction and having assigned seats for people. If you like the idea, let me know in the comments. What works for you? What are you doing? What are you doing differently perhaps? Maybe give me a subscribe if you're interested in future videos about phys ed management. Take care, everybody.